The Rock Metal Podcast, episode 117 with The Crowning. Rock Metal Nation, what is up? This is John from the Rock Metal Podcast. The sample you just heard was Fade by The Crowning, who I've got on the show with me right now. They're an alternative grunge hard rock band from Pennsylvania, USA. We're going to be listening to that song as well as one other while finding out more information about the band. Micah, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Beauty, let's go listen back to that track, Fade. I come back from Fade. I love the song. It's a great song.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's funny how some of these things kind of come about. We like to experiment with things, and typically, I usually come with an idea for a song and have kind of some general structure, and then the rest of the guys, kind of add all their whiz bang elements, and then we get in the studio and we work with a really fantastic producer who really kind of helps us kick it up a notch, and just kind of trying to do something different and blending kind of lots of different influences and styles. And I was really happy about how this came out, so I appreciate the insight.
Yeah, yeah. So it kind of like, speaking of insight into the writing process. Now you mentioned you kind of come up with the idea and the structure, and everyone else adds in a bit of the elements, and you work with the producer. Was that the case for like the entire album?
So I mostly, yeah. So I mean, I founded this band just this past summer. So we haven't been at this very long, but I've been writing for a long time and had a lot of material, and took about a 12-year hiatus from playing, and relocated and a number of other things, and wound up, finding these guys. And so I had brought a number of songs that I'd already written to the table. And they, so it was a collaboration on kind of some of the arrangement and dynamics of things. And then, we're working with a world-renowned, we're a super great producer out here in Pennsylvania, and Danny Malsh. And so I'd found his studio. It happens to be practically in our backyard. So it's kind of a gold mine out here of musicians and so artists and producers and everything, and found him, but yeah, as far as the writing process goes, it usually starts with I have a pretty kind of rough structure of something, and then bringing it to the group, and everybody adds their energy into it, and I think the final product so far have been pretty phenomenal. We're pretty excited about what we've been putting out.
Yeah, and I think it definitely shows when you work with a producer that there's just going to be a level of quality that's going to come out if their producer isn't used.
Yeah, I agree. I think and we're very fortunate to have found one of the best who's really took an interest in what we were doing and willing to work with us. And the in this day and age, quality is everything, and obviously you have to have good songs. But when you're we're an independent band, you have so much competition, and if you want people to hear you, the quality of production has to be high. It's just the name of the game in this day and age. And so I feel like the final product that we put out is fantastic. And then even more so, like our live show, like we really bring the energy and we pull off what we do live, and because that was super important to us. And so playing live is a lot of fun, and I think when you come out and hear us, you will also hear what we recorded, which is a important thing, I think.
Yeah. Now, do you know the story or inspiration behind the track Fade?
Yeah, it actually was written because there's kind of a longer build and an intro, and we have a radio edit that kind of really shortens it off. But it started out as just I had this idea for opening a show and just kind of a slow progressive build, and it wasn't really intended to be a song. And then we wound up turning it into a song, and the song itself lyrically is about losing someone, and over the years the memory of that person begins to fade, and so it's really kind of a call to not a desperation of not wanting that to happen, not wanting to lose the memory of those who we've lost. So
yeah, kind of a sad but true point that you bring up.
Yeah, most of my lyrics are, I don't tend to write about kind of girlfriend, boyfriendy stuff. They tend to be, we don't take ourselves very seriously, but the lyrical content of the music tends to be a little bit on the serious side. But we try to balance that out and have a lot of fun, and have the music is very more energetic when we have these kind of serious topics. So
Yeah, it's a good point. Speaking of which, let's go and listen to the next track, In the Fire.
Breathe into life as if by fate, chased by the guilt of all my mistakes. Don't follow me on the path I have made. Am I to pay the price? Or will I be saved? In the warm, I found you. In the fire, I forged you. With love, I brought you in the end. Is it peace I will find when I am laid to rest? My peace of mind, for the body's worth, a grave is what I've earned. Left here to face the fire, my soul to burn. In the warm, I found you. In the fire, I forged you. With love, I brought you I burst into flames. I burst into flames. I burst into
Coming back from In the Fire. Similar question for you. What's the story or inspiration behind In the Fire?
it's really about kind of looking back at myself when I was younger and being able to, I wish I could go back and say the things that I could say to myself when I was younger. And that, the decisions that you make and mistakes that you make when you're young don't have to define the rest of your life. And so in that sense, is actually a positive message of don't get bogged down in the problems you have now or the mistakes that you've made, and look to the future, because there's a greater kind of purpose for your life. Gosh, that sounds so heavy.
It does. It does. And it only being not even 7 o'clock in the morning here, I don't know if I can handle
I
that.
know, man. It's like these are conversations we need to have over beers and whiskey. But yeah, that's the gist of it. And this was a really fun song to write. I feel like it came out really well. Had a much kind of a very driving and kind of aggressive beat to it. And hopefully a good hook that everybody latches onto.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, speaking of hook, there's really some cool melodic guitar stuff in the intro.
Yeah. So Ace Hendricks is incredible. The funny thing about actually the band itself is I was kind of the outsider, and I was new to the area, and the guys I wound up playing with, Walter, Ace, and Ty, happened to actually be lifelong friends. Had been in bands together since high school, and had been collaborating on a number of projects. So when I met them, it was kind of like a excuse me, it was like a ready-made band in the sense that they'd already spent years learning how to collaborate with one another. They've got a lot of time and under their belts, and so for me to be able to walk into the situation, bring these songs, and have these guys jump in right away and be able to put something together as if we'd been around for a long time was pretty phenomenal. And Ace has what I was looking for when I was looking for a guitar player was, and I've been in bands in the past where it was very kind of 80s metal kind of influenced, and so everything was a shredding guitar solo, and I've that stuff is fun and cool, but you have to find special people who can do that kind of thing and do it well. And I always liked the more melodic side of rock, and so that's why Ace was such a perfect fit for this, because he's actually a drummer by trade. I mean, he's been playing drums and most of the guys in the bands are multi-instrumentalists except for me. We have both Ace and Ty are drummers, guitar players, singers, or Ace and Walter, excuse me. So Ace really brings a cool kind of, we call him like our Edge, like from U2. So he really brings a lot of those cool melodic touches to the music, so I think it's working well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what exciting news do you guys have coming up for Rock Metal Nation to pay attention to?
Yeah, we've got we've been playing shows all over the Northeast. Been doing a mini tour around here, the Northeast U.S. and March is going to be huge for us. We got a lot of stuff going out. We're about to drop some music videos, which we're pretty excited about. We've got a big festival. We put on festivals twice a year, where we have a bunch of bands come and play. We have big property and stage and all this. We invite a lot of bands from kind of all over the area Northeast to come play. So we're super excited about that. We're hoping to put out a full-length record towards the end of the summer, early fall. So if you check us out at thecrowningmusic.com, or follow us on any of our social media platforms. We're at Crowning Music on pretty much all of them. Reach out to us and stay up to date. So we've always got, it's a very evolving thing, and we're incredibly active and have always have lots of cool things coming up and happening. So hopefully we'll get to connect with some new people and come see some people out at a show.
Cool. Well, Mike, unless there's anything else you wanted to throw out there, I just wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day to come on to the Rock Metal Podcast and sharing the crowning with Rock Metal Nation.
Hey, thanks for having me on, John. Appreciate it.
All right, Rock Metal Nation. Hopefully you just found your new favorite band in The Crowning. Big thanks again to them for coming on and sharing their music with us. Make sure to head over to www.therockmetalpodcast.ca to get all the information on the show you just heard today. And until then, rock on, Rock Metal Nation.